I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorite movies now, I think. It's a hard R, so be prepared. It's a very hard R. The first preview I saw, I was angry. I was angry the first preview I saw because it looked like they were just cheapening this novel and making it into something smutty to gain attention. And I was really bothered by the casting of Heathcliff because he does not fit the character description. He's supposed to be dark skinned, and that's part of the story, and it causes part of the conflict. But here's what I decided. After seeing several previews, I was going to go in and watch this film as a movie based upon one of my favorite novels, not as a literary adaptation. And I gave myself weeks to prepare because I know what happened when I saw Les Mis, and it took me years to get over it and accept that movie for what it is. All right, all that being said, this movie's incredible. It's not for the faint of heart. It's a hard R, as I said. So I've read this book so many times. I know the characters of Catherine and Heathcliff, and I can tell you that Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie inhabited. They were the characters. It was incredible. Now, the plot is not perfect. They leave out a good half of the main characters in the story. They change plot lines. That aside, what made it so perfect is they embodied Catherine and Heathcliff. So any changes that were made, they had to boil the story down so they could get it into a 2-hour film. Perfect sense. It's a very thick story. But in the opening scenes, the plot was already being changed. The very opening scene doesn't even happen in the book. And the hairs on the back of my neck started to bristle. And I just said, okay, remember, based on, not adaptation. And so I reminded myself one more time, and it all made sense. It all made sense. Here's the two things that sold me on this film. First of all, the setting. It's beautiful. The setting and the costume design is absolutely gorgeous. I have visited, in my mind's eye, Wuthering Heights and Thrushcross Grange so many times throughout the years. Never have I pictured Wuthering Heights to be as accurate as what this film did. And then the Thrushcross Grange was even better than what I imagined in my mind. So the setting was beautiful. Clearly, most of the movie was done on a soundstage, but that was the artistic choice that they were going for, and it made the type of film that they were going for. So that was incredible. The subtle changes to the plot and the characterization and even family connections makes perfect sense. As I was trying to explain to someone after the movie, I tried to explain the differences, and it got so complicated because the text itself is so rich and dense and complicated. There's no way they could have made it into a 2-hour movie that was succinct enough to make perfect sense. So forgive the casting choices that they made and accepting those as they are. And honest to goodness, 2/3 of the book weren't even in the movie. The movie ends probably halfway through the book. The characterization was stunning, shocking. I did lean over to the people that I was at the theater with, and I said, if they do not include my favorite line in this movie, I'm going to demand my money back. And when Margot Robbie looks at the actress, when Catherine looks at Nellie and says, I don't know what souls are made of, but his and mine are made of the same. I didn't get the line exact. That was it. They nailed it. Oh, it was perfect. God, it was so good. It was so good. Talking about the sensuality and the sex in the movie, it does not show full frontal or even full backside, although the sex scenes are very vivid and very sensual. I don't think Emily Bronte would be angry. I, honest to goodness, think Emily Bronte would watch this film. She would question some of the casting choices because that does alter the plot or the depth of the character. But I think she would be proud of the visual representation and the characterizations. It was incredible. And spoilers for this 200-year-old novel. I don't know that I've ever felt compassion for Heathcliff. I can sympathize on some level, but I don't know that I've ever felt compassion for him. Those last 10 to 15 minutes of the movie Waterfalls. Just brokenhearted. Um, my heart broke for Heathcliff. If you don't know much about Wuthering Heights, the way I tell this novel, it is a dark, dark romance about a horrible, evil man who falls in love with a horrible, evil woman, and they screw over each other and everyone in their lives. But the love story between them is so beautiful, and the ending is so beautiful and romantic. And Heathcliff is one of the most deplorable characters in literature, I would argue. And for this film to make me feel compassion and broken for a deplorable character. Now, one of the things I don't think this film does accurately enough, I don't think it portrays how equal Catherine is to the misery of both of them in this relationship. The book, I think, covers that much better. There were some other interesting choices with characterization and plot, but it all lines up. It was beautiful. I can't recommend it enough. It was a great film, but not for the faint of heart.